We now have our next speaker. We've heard from a parliamentarian from the exiled Tibetan Parliament. We're now going to have a member of the British Parliament, Norman Baker of the Liberal Democrats, who has been a staunch member of the all-party group for Tibet for many years now. So please welcome Norman Baker.
I think I just broke the mic stand. Thank you, friends, for coming along today, and thank you especially for all our Tibetan friends here in London for turning up. And isn't it fantastic to see so many Tibetan flags here in London? I look forward to seeing them one day flying over Lhasa again. The Chinese government, when they designed to bid the Olympics, felt it would be a useful propaganda tool for themselves and their campaigns to pretend it's something other than it is. Well, that propaganda tool is backfiring today, Chinese. It's backfiring, as coverage on the television and the radio and in the newspapers tomorrow will be full of Tibetan flags. No, I don't want to stop our sportsmen and women going to Beijing for the Olympics, but I think we should ask our politicians whether they should be there. And I today call upon Gordon Brown and the other leaders of the Western world to boycott the opening ceremony of the Olympic Games. To make sure there is no appalling use of Tibet to parade the Olympic torch through. That must not be allowed to happen. The truth is out. The truth is out about the Chinese repression and brutality in Tibet, about the appalling human rights record. If one good thing has come from the last few weeks of terror in Tibet, it is that the world has woken up to what the Chinese authorities are doing in Tibet and what the Chinese authorities are doing to their own people. The world is now in no doubt what the Chinese are doing, and the world must respond. Now, the world must respond in good ways. It must respond by encouraging the UN Security Council and the Secretary General, Ban Ki-moon, to send a special delegation to Tibet, an independent delegation to Tibet, to report back to the world on what they find there. The UN needs as well to become involved in that. And we need to make sure that if there is dialogue between His Holiness the Dalai Lama and the Chinese, there must be independent monitoring of that. There must be an independent person there, and there must be open reporting back to the world so we can see whether or not the Chinese are genuine. They have not been so far, whether they are genuine in their wish to negotiate with the Tibetans. We have a special role in this country, because we know in Britain, because we dealt with Tibet, that Tibet was and should be an independent country. Chinese ambassador in the Times yesterday, what rubbish that was, talking about Chinese rules in the 13th century. And I hope some people here today will pick up a pen or pick up a word processor when they get home and write to the Times and other newspapers that have carried letters to the Chinese ambassador and point out that before 1950, Tibet was fully functioning in its own government, its own foreign policy, all the hallmarks of an independent state, and it is simply a lie to say Tibet has been part of China. The Chinese government, and not the Chinese people, but the Chinese government, through their actions, have brought dishonour upon their own nation, and they are revealed for what they are today, which is a bunch of butchers operating with a policy of brutality in Tibet and against those who disagree with their narrow views. The Chinese, sadly, have shown in recent weeks they can kill, they can maim, they can torture, they can seek to bring about what's so-called patriotic re-education. But what they can never do is they can never win the hearts and minds of the Tibetan people.
Thank you very much, Norman, for that rousing speech. It's so refreshing. I'm sure you will agree to hear a member of the British Parliament speaking out openly, without fear of censor, about China's brutality